Hey everyone, welcome to our discussion about fever. Today we will be talking about why kids have fever and what you can do as parents to treat it. The thermoregulatory center of the brain is called the hypothalamus. When we have pathogens introduced into our body, or germs such as viruses or bacteria, this thermoregulatory center gets activated, causing us to have fever. Medications such as Tylenol and Motrin act on this area of the brain to help bring the fever down. When we get sick, such as being exposed to viral particles and inhaling them, this triggers our immune system. Our immune system works to clear our bodies of this harmful pathogen, whether it be a virus or a bacteria. The immune system will tell the brain that there's something going on, they don't like what's happening, and we need to do something about it. The brain will activate the hypothalamus and cause fever. Fever, for the most part, if you are healthy and immunized, is not dangerous. Fever means that our bodies are fighting away an infection. This is a wonderful discussion and something I'm asked very often. A fever curve. Parents will often come in and say, well, their temperature keeps going up and down. That is very normal for fever. So as you can see in the graph, a child may start at a 98-degree temperature. Then the temperature rises to 101. If the parent gives Tylenol, the temperature may go down to 99. A few hours later, specifically, once the medication wears off, the temperature may go to 102. After a while, comes down 100.4, then may go up to 105. A 101 temp and a 105 temp are the same. Fever is fever. The difference is Tylenol and Motrin may get your temperature down 2 or 3 degrees, but can't get it down 5 or 6 degrees. So if you have a temperature of 105 and take Tylenol or Motrin, you probably won't go all the way to 98 or 99 degrees. The first medication we will talk about is acetaminophen, or trade name Tylenol. The exact mechanism is unknown. However, we do know that it works at the level of the hypothalamus. Remember, the thermoregulatory center of the brain. This medication can be given by mouth or as a rectal dose of the medication. Believe it or not, the generic form of acetaminophen and the trade name of Tylenol are exactly the same. They work exactly the same, yet their cost is quite different. The second medication we'll talk about is ibuprofen, trade name Motrin or Advil. This blocks prostaglandins, which are released in injury or illness. When prostaglandins are released in the brain, this can cause fever. Ibuprofen is great because it also acts as an anti-inflammatory by inhibiting these prostaglandins. Each of these antipyretics or fever reducers comes in an infant formula, infant Tylenol or infant acetaminophen, as well as infant Motrin or infant ibuprofen. While it's great that these come in infant versions, read the packaging. Tylenol can be quite toxic to the liver if dosed inappropriately. A few years ago, the manufacturers of Tylenol and Motrin decided to remove the concentrated infant's Tylenol. This Tylenol was a higher concentration, meaning a higher number of milligrams per volume. Now what is sold is two versions of the same thing. Infant Tylenol and children's Tylenol are the same exact concentration, 160 milligrams per 5 mLs, or 1 teaspoon. The differences include the packaging and the price. The infant's Tylenol is sold as a smaller volume and a higher price. Again, the trade name and the generic work exactly the same, yet the prices are quite different. Now let's look at children's and infant ibuprofen, or Motrin. While ibuprofen can have some adverse effect if dosed inappropriately, it does not have the hepatotoxic effects or liver effects that Tylenol does. Motrin remains available in a children's version, which is 100 milligrams per teaspoon, and an infant's version, which is 50 milligrams per 1.25 mLs. So you can get Motrin in a more concentrated version. Let's come back to our fever curve. Tylenol can be given every 4 to 6 hours, while Motrin can be given every 6 hours. These medications should not be used at the same time. Rather, you can alternate if need be. I usually tell parents to pick one medication and stick with it, using the other in between doses if needed. Keep in mind, if your child's temperature goes quite high, to 105 for example, and you give a dose of Motrin, their temperature may not come down to normal or afebrile. Their temperature may only come down to 101.5 or 102 before going back up. This is normal. So when should you worry about fever in your child? I always give parents the same advice. When the temperature comes down, what does your child look like? How are they acting? Are they happier? Are they more energetic? How's their work of breathing? Are they breathing normally or are they having trouble breathing? How's their thirst or their appetite? Are they wanting to eat or drink more? Are they making wet diapers or urinating? Take a deep breath. If your child has specific symptoms that you feel need to be evaluated, then certainly have them seen by their pediatrician. Sore throat and earache, for example. If your child seems to be acting normally when the temperature comes down, they are eating and drinking, they are breathing well, they are acting much better when the temperature comes down, then you are probably okay treating the fever at home. When in doubt, have them evaluated, but know that fever in the setting of illness is very normal. It shows that your child has a healthy immune system ready to fight off infections.